Okay, we're up to Siman Yud, Seif Ches in the Mechaber. So with the Mechaber, just to say this outside and then we'll see it inside, we spoke about yesterday that if you have like a t-shirt tzitzis, so it's under the armpit, it's sealed, and then at the bottom it opens up. If it's rubai pasuach, it's chayiv in tzitzis, and if it's rubai sasum, it's not chayiv. Over here, the Mechaber is talking about something a little different, which is it's a beged that's mostly open. It's a beged that's completely open, like some sort of toga type thing, where it's open on the sides, like that Mexican clothing. I forgot the name of it. The kitzer, where it's like a robe. It's completely open on the sides. But what you did, what this person did was he sealed it towards the bottom. He started the seal, so not under the armpit right away, but sort of past halfway point where it's normally open, he now decided to seal it, which is not a normal way for a beged. Begadim open on the bottom, he closed it on the bottom. The issue with this is that while it might be technically sealed off, the issue is that it's a bad optic. We'll see it on the side. The Mechaber says, Kofa, this type of garment, she psucha be'inyan sheish v'daled kanfis, it's completely open, and therefore it has four corners. Im yikavu ba ashteringa, if you do some sort of ashtringa, some sort of seal on the side. So you seal it on the bottom, so the bottom half you seal off, you sew it up. It does not help unless from the bottom half downward is completely sealed. And it has to also be sealed under the belt. Because that way it'll be majority sealed and it'll be the majority that's visible. Because if not for that, it'll be an issue of marasayin. Meaning, in other words, that in order to pater from tzitzis, it has to be not just roiv sasum, but it has to be roiv sasum in a way that it's clear that people can tell. You see, because again, normally it's sasum under the armpit. Over here, you decided to make it sasum towards the bottom of the beged, which is not normal, and therefore it has to be the majority of the beged is sealed, and it's visible to the outside, to the average person that it's sealed. Because if not, people will see the top open, not realizing that it's sealed towards the bottom, and think, oh, he's just not wearing tzitzis, it's a maris ayin, and therefore it has to not just be sealed, it has to be sealed in such a way that it's clear to the average person that it's sealed. Again, you have to know the exact mitzias in this. The Mechaber says in Tes, haknafayim tzarech she'eh merubois v'lo she'eh agulois. Whenever we talk about four-corner beged, the corner has to be at an angle, and it can't be rounded. Because if it's rounded, then it's not considered chayiv in tzitzis, which is dafka why a lot of the eitzes, as we'll see, is to actually make it rounded, because that'll avoid the chiv of tzitzis. And Seif Yud, mitznefes. Now, mitznefes is basically like a turban that they would wear down. It looks a little bit like the old Arab kafiyas, where they would wear it down, and it actually had four corners. So the question is it chayiv in tzitzis? Now, it's technically meant to cover the head. It did partially cover the back because it was long. It says in the Mechaber, mitznefes, petura afilu shal artzas hamayriv, even if it's this Arab mitznefes, shabej Hashem mushlachim al kasveim, the gufam, that even though it does partially cover the shoulders and cover the back, you're not chayiv in tzitzis. Why? Because the ikr purpose of the beged is to cover the head. That's the main functionality of the beged. And only a beged that's meant to cover the body and not one to cover the head. Covering the head is not chayiv in tzitzis. So because this beged is really meant to cover the head, it's not going to be chayiv in tzitzis. The Mishnah Berurah says, so why do we make an atara if the head doesn't matter? The ikr is the body. Why do they make an atara on the top? The reason why people put an atara is purely so you know what's the top and what's the bottom. So that the tzitzis, the top ones always stay in front and the bottom ones always stay in the back. The purpose of an atara is merely so you don't confuse the top to the bottom. It's not that there's a chashivas to the head more than anything else. And he does mention that the Arizal himself was not makbid that the top always be at the top and the bottom always be at the bottom. And that's why Chabad, who's followed the Arizal, they do not have an atara at all. All right, we'll stop here.